complete terror, and there's no way around it, and especially facing what he was facing. So there's nothing. Look, I could be a cool cucumber throughout the process, but that's a moment where I can't even pretend.
You're always a cool cucumber because you have very, very high profile cases, some of the most important people in the world, you know what I mean? And so you've litigated and been in the courtroom for just about every kind of person. So I was like, you're usually cool as a cucumber. You were pretty cool, but I was like, I've never seen Joe like this.
Right, you got it. You were 100% right. I mean, and then, cherry on top, the judge did something I've never seen a judge do before. And he's a terrific judge. I like him a lot, Judge Arnold. But he did something that's unique to him, which is he took the verdict forms and he looked upset. And he had an affinity for Rocky. There's no question about that. Because Rocky's a really terrific person, a gentleman, and he conducts himself in a great manner, and he comes across as a really good person, and he is. So he takes the verdict forms. He looks so upset. And then what he did was something I've never seen before. He asked the jurors to confirm their verdict. One by one, he said, I want to hand the verdicts back to the jury. I want them to confirm it. Now, first of all, it normally happens after the reading of the verdict, not before. But even worse, it never happens upon an acquittal. You only ask the jury to confirm a verdict when there is a conviction. Wow. Okay? So, when he did that, I was as supremely confident as I'd ever been in a verdict. I called it the day before, I think it was on TMZ, and I said I'm very confident that the jury's going to find him not guilty. I lived the case for a month. We shredded their evidence, quite frankly. Reasonable doubt was all over this case, and that's what you need. Just in one. I think I gave the jury 100 examples. And a quick verdict after a month trial, having a 3-hour verdict, is normally favoring the defense.
That's what I wanted to know. So with the 3-hour verdicts and then him doing what you said procedurally, that's different. What were you thinking?
I don't know. I was thinking I was going to have a stroke. That's what I was thinking. I didn't feel good. I felt lightheaded because I was confident. We were all confident. My partner Chad Siegel's been with me for 23 years. We've been through this. We know when it's right, and it felt right. Summation after 5.5 hours of speaking to that jury, my summation, I connected with them. I felt it, and we made really good points. And so, but then the judge did that little thing where he looked upset. He gave the verdict form to the jury to confirm their verdicts. And I was like, my God. I looked at Chad, who looked at the local attorney, Sarah Kaplan, and we said, this is happening in California. And she said, never. And I was like, oh my God. So now I'm and Rocky's picking up this whole vibe, and he looks at me and goes, oh shit. And I said, hang in there, brother, hang in there. And I'm putting my arm around him to try and hold him up. But I'm thinking, who the hell's going to hold me up?
Right.
Because I thought this.
You were leaning over the desk, Joe.
I was, yeah. There was a minute then. But really a minute where I thought, how could this be? I couldn't process it. Intellectually, I couldn't process it because I knew what this case was, and I knew what we did to their evidence, and I knew what...
So did the judge want him to be guilty? So the way he's saying it is like,
I had a rocket scientist on my jury.
He was surprised when he looked at the verdict forms, and he said he looked kind of mad, so what do we take from that?
Talk more about the case. I should have started with this, but look, we're going to get to it. We led up to it and gave people a little bit of, not anxiety, I don't want to say, but they want to know. So this is the moment that the jury delivered the verdict. Now, I want to watch it, and then I want to get your reaction, though. So here it is.
Court, County of Los Angeles. People of the state of California versus Joaquin Mayers. Case number VA 508142-01. We, the jury, the above entitled action, find the defendant, Joaquin Mayers, not guilty.
Oh my goodness! Oh, that was an exciting moment. Look at his legal team. They like, wait a minute, he ain't finished reading the verdict. He said, calm down.
So I thought you were leaning over. Maybe it was a day that you and the prosecutor were having that fight and you took your shirt off. Maybe that was every day that you were leaning over the desk then. But tell me about that moment.
Okay, that moment is, I'm laser focused on the clerk reading the verdict, who also intentionally gave us a heart attack with that long drawn out pause. Find the defendant, Joaquin Mayers, and he went silent for like 12 seconds. I was like, did he have a stroke? What happened? What's going on? Why is he not
It
speaking?
felt like 12 seconds. It wasn't that long, Joe.
It was
Probably
long.
in the
It
moment.
was longer than normal. And he told me he did that on purpose for dramatic effect. I was like, no need. There was plenty of drama already. But anyway, so what happens? I'm laser focused on it because there's 2 counts. And I've seen juries do crazy things, and I didn't know if they were going to split, the baby down the middle. I didn't know what was happening. So I'm looking at him, and then I didn't see Rocky leave. I didn't see that. Okay, I heard the eruption, but I just thought it was the family who were obviously on pins and needles. I looked over to talk to Rocky to say, okay, one more and we're good. And he was gone. And I saw my partner. I go, where's Rocky? And Chad's like, he's there. And I looked, and he was like crowd surfing, like he was on Rihanna's lap or something. I was like, wow. I said, okay, Chad, go get him because we have one more count. Okay, how bad will this be? How embarrassing would this be? How do they find him guilty? We got to undo all that, right? So bring him back, please. So Rocky came back. I put my arm around him. I whispered to him, Rocky, we have one more to go. Let's just stay here. We have one more to go. And all the while this is going on, I'm just having again another moment. I'm trying to, if you can see me, I'm trying to signal the clerk saying, second count, same thing. Second count, same thing. And he's not even acknowledging me. So I was really, and then of course they read the second count, not guilty as well. Then it was a true explosion. I finally said, now we can hug.
So there were 2 counts, right? But I thought I heard 3. Was it 2 counts? But 3.
You got it very perceptively. There were 2 counts, but you heard 3 times. Why? And my partner was confused. He also, Chad said to me, there's 3 counts. I said, no, there's 2 counts. What happened was, when that happened and Rocky went into the crowd, when he came back, the clerk said, sort of softly, let me start again.
Right, that's what I figured he
And
did.
he read the first count again, not guilty, which prompted Chad and Rocky to start hugging again. I'm like, guys, it's still count 1. Let's get to count 2.
So even more anticipation and anxiety, right?
So finally, 2 full counts were read, not guilty on both, and then it was just a pure elation for him, for Rihanna, for the mother, for the family, and for me, because he became family to me.
Well, let's talk about this. I'll talk about the family thing, and I'm going to get the ASAP Joe into a little bit. But can you just walk us? I want to take a step back and walk us through the facts of this case, because Terrell Efron, right? Is that ASAP Relly? Tell us about this case. What happened?
Look, it's a claim that he was. First of all, when I started this case out, the theme was that this is a greedy, jealous, pathological liar who was trying to extort Rocky and get money from him over an incident that he fabricated. There was a dispute, no question. There was a fight, but he was the instigator. He had deleted text messages that were in his text string with Rocky before turning his phone over to the police that we had, and it clearly showed that he was the instigator. And he manipulated evidence in this case terrifically. And basically, they had this little interaction where Rocky had been carrying a prop gun for 6 months from the DMV video with Rihanna, where there were prop guns all over the place. He picked one of them out and used it because his security detail said, look, he had a slash on his face because he was attacked in the club. He had a stalker that had broken into his house. He had home invasions. So when he did not have security with him, he carried this prop gun that one of his manager actually helped put together. They put an extended magazine on it because it was meant to look intimidating. Everyone who knew Rocky knew he carried a prop gun for this period of time, from the DMV video to this incident. When this rally started, twice Rocky's size, started picking him up by the neck, and in this first interaction, Rocky pulled out that gun to deter. Obviously didn't use it. You knew it was a prop gun and we knew Relly knew it was a prop gun because after that happened and Rocky put it away and left, this Terrell Efron kept following him. He followed Rocky and Ills and 12 these other ASAP members, followed them around the corner and was berating them as he was following them. Now, some guy pulls a gun on you and threatens to kill you. The last thing you're going to do if he puts that gun away is follow him. Not only follow him and insult him and challenge him and threaten him, which is what he claims he did. And then he gets around the corner, he starts annihilating and pummeling one of Rocky's friends, this Ills guy who's much smaller. And Rocky, took that starter pistol out and fired 2 warning shots to try and get him, to stop. It didn't work, obviously, because he knew it was a starter pistol. It did create commotion, and ASAP 12, he was a terrific kid. He testified in this case, and an artist on his own right. Told Rocky to leave because now the car alarms were going off, and there was commotion, and eventually everyone left. But
What was it over though? Because it wasn't. They were buddies, right? As a member of his collective.
what it was over was this guy was so jealous of Rocky. He wanted Rocky basically to take care of him for the rest of his life. He had this. He portrayed himself on the internet as a millionaire, very wealthy individual. You know, always showing fake things, money, planes, cars. We showed that he had about $700 in his bank account, but he had this false image of himself, and he told people he was a multimillionaire. And he said he could tell people whatever he wants, which is exactly what I wanted to tell this jury. And it was about, you know, his jealousy of Rocky. It was also about him thinking that Rocky didn't pay for A$AP Josh's funeral. Another A$AP member who had died tragically in California. Rocky told his mom he would fly the body back and take care of the funeral expenses. He, in fact, did. Somehow this Relly didn't think that happened. He thought Rocky didn't pay him, so there's messages where he's threatening to beat Rocky up over. He's going to kick his.
And why should he have to answer to A$AP Relly for the help that he provided to the family and his other A$AP friends? Relly shouldn't have nothing to do with that. Why would he be mad? You know.
This happened. So, but you know, as a witness, they had to believe, Don, at the end of the day, this jury had to accept the testimony of Terrell Efron, of this guy Relly, A$AP Relly. And I told this jury, and it wasn't an exaggeration, that they had a front row seat to the absolute most incredible witness in the history of American jurisprudence. This guy committed perjury multiple times in front of the jury, admitted committing perjury to this jury by saying, I decided I just wanted to give you that answer because I didn't want to talk to you anymore. I wanted to give whatever answer I wanted to give. It wasn't true, but I wanted to leave. So I just gave you this answer. He told that to the jury.
A$AP Relly did say that.
Lie after lie. He said evidence was fake.
Yeah,
Times that was real, but it was
he said it wasn't him on the tape that was fake.
You know, he was an absolute pathological liar.
And so then
And he was lucky enough to recover the shell casings. Remember this is an important fact. Without Relly, the case, there's no evidence of a shooting whatsoever. You see, there's two videos. One video where the prop gun is pulled out. The case detective told me on cross-examination that there's no evidence that that's an operable gun. Just by looking at it, you can't tell it's operable. So that's one down. The second video is a grainy video. You can't even see it.
That's smart too.
Okay, so he acknowledges.
So you don't know if
shooting.
they didn't know whether it was reasonable doubt about whether the gun was operable, because if it wasn't operable, where did the shots come from? You know. So I mean, this was a real good lawyer right here. Yes, he pointed out a lot of good points, a lot of reasonable doubt.
He knew where I was going. He said, a replica gun.
You can't prove it as an operable gun just by looking at it.
So, without Relly's testimony, we had two videos, and a sound, a Nest Cam sound. And that's your entire evidence in this case,
Right.
Because don't forget, he's claiming Rocky shot 9mm slugs at him. The injury, obviously, is ridiculous. He has knuckle scrapes from punching this guy. Knuckle scrapes. That's not a bullet wound. Now his story changed from that. When he filed a $30 million lawsuit against Rocky, he claimed that he was permanently injured by a bullet and he needed medical attention. When he testified before the jury, he said, well, the bullet could have hit me, or it could have been the floor. It was the floor when you don't get a bullet that hits one knuckle, takes a dive to the second knuckle, then takes a deep dive to the third knuckle, and it's long.
Johnny Cochran type move right there.
Nonsense he was bringing. So anyway, long story short is, without his testimony, it was impossible to come to a conclusion that beyond a reasonable doubt that there was a shooting. It was one way or another. He was caught in lie after lie after lie before this jury. He cursed in the courtroom. He threw a water bottle in the courtroom during my cross, to the point where it was almost like there was nothing left for him to do. And you know, the jurors stopped looking at him. They stopped looking at him. He was threatening. I mean, this is in the courtroom with a judge, a jury, and bailiffs. Imagine, like out in the street, I told this jury. So his tongue was a stranger to the truth, and he committed multiple acts of perjury. So without him, it was, you know, impossible.
So he was in.
And to keep his reference, last thing, he claims he went back to the scene an hour and 45 minutes later and found 2 shell casings within a minute. Okay, he claims he went to Dunkin' Donuts at 11 o'clock at night, picked up a bag, and put the shell cases in a bag. There's no Dunkin' Donuts that's open during the COVID period, especially, but even now in Los Angeles past 8 p.m. So he claims at 11 o'clock he found an open Dunkin' Donuts in Hollywood. Not true. I don't know why he lied about that, but he said he found 2 shell cases at the scene in the spot where this incident was.
He shouldn't have been allowed to bring those shell cases in anyway.
7 cops
As a
were there
plaintiff,
within 10 minutes of this alleged shooting, and with the flashlights and the body cams, you can see
Right.
they searched the exact same area. where he claims he recovered the bullets. 7 cops were there 20 minutes. That's 140 minutes of manpower.
Right.
They didn't find anything. No evidence of a shooting. And miraculously, he comes along an hour, 45 minutes later with a phone flashlight and bends
He
out.
found the
and
shell
finds the
cases.
shell
Come on
cases.
now, really?
Obviously, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So he was his own worst enemy on the stand. But do the shell cases, did they even match?
There was nothing to match it to. There was the only thing that was recovered was a magazine in Rocky's house. Because Rocky was licensed to carry guns, and there were different bullets from
Okay, then why would he go through with this? He reported it to the police, right? Why would he go?
No, not right away. That was sort of normal crime window. You go, you get someone who tries to kill you, you go right to the police. No, for 2 days he held on to his bullets that he claims he found at the scene, even though there's no proof other than his word that he did, because there's no video of him coming back to the scene.
2 days he held on
2
to
days he
it.
held it as he was calling Rocky and his manager trying to explore
Alleged
money. He
evidence.
said, give me money, I'm let me resolve this or I'm going to the police.
Got it.
Rocky said, go to the police.
Yeah, that was extortion.
2 days, it took him 2 days to report this because
Because he holding on to some fake evidence, shell cases that he said he got from the scene. So in other words, you're trying to get 30 million. I won't go to the police with this evidence that I have if you give me 30 million. Yeah, that's what it was. Extortion.
and why that happened, I have no idea. They had all their evidence within the first week and a half, first month. Nothing new came. There was no fingerprints tying them to these shell casings. There was no DNA tying them to anything. There was, again, aside from the word of this guy, there was no evidence whatsoever. And they relied on him wholeheartedly. We had a tape that also came with evidence where after Rocky was arrested and charged, he spoke to one of Rocky's friends and said, if he gives me $30 million, I'm getting $30 million, I'll disappear to an island and the DA will never find me.
Wow.
And they won't be able to have a case. So he was selling his criminal case. And, the DA's office didn't know about that, obviously, and when they found that out, they, were fidgeting in their chairs and whatnot, but it was too late.
Were you surprised that this even went to trial, considering what you're telling me? I'm surprised that the judge didn't say, okay, you don't have enough evidence. Why don't you guys, we need to resolve this. Maybe.
Well, the judge, that's not really the judge's role at that point. Once it goes to a certain point, it's just, it's really the jury to resolve it, or the district attorney in their sort of discretion to say, hey, we have a problem here. I think that was the call to make. After this guy really testified, I think the district attorney should have said, you know what, in the interest of justice, fundamental fairness, we have a guy who's admitted to multiple crimes on the witness stand. We haven't caught an extortion. The extortion tape, by the way, he said was a fake tape. He said that's a fake tape. That's AI. And of course the DA knew it wasn't fake.
Is he going to face any sort of criminal or any sort of legal action for, you said he lied on the witness stand?
Perjury, multiple times. This perjury, this extortion. The district attorney should lock him up. I mean, I called for that yesterday. I said the district attorney of Los Angeles, he made a mockery of their office. He tried to sell their case for $30 million. Sell it. It's on tape.
Do you think that'll happen?
Pardon?
Do you think that'll happen? You think they're going to charge him or arrest him?
I doubt it. Based on the statement of the district attorney yesterday, he seemed to be tone deaf.
Is A$AP Rocky going to do anything? Is he going to file any sort of legal? He just wants this over.
Wait, what's he gonna do? Really take the $700 out of his bank account? I mean, he's gonna move on with his life. He's got so much going on. He's got this big Gucci campaign done. That's one of the funniest stories, by the way. I've been on the phone with Gucci for the last year and a half. They have this new cologne coming out that rocks the face up. You're not gonna believe the name of this cologne. It's called Gucci Guilty. I'm not kidding. And they wanted to start the campaign in January. I said, guys, the trial is starting in late January. Please hold. They said, well, we have to put it out there. It's Valentine's Day is coming up. I'm like, you cannot put out Gucci Guilty with Rocky's face on it in January or February for that matter. We have a jury coming. So we compromised. They put out the ad with the Gucci cologne, but without the wording Gucci Guilty on it. So it's Rocky's face on the cologne. Carefully, it says Gucci Guilty on it. And I said to them, well, I have a solution. Why don't you just name it Gucci Not Guilty? If you say Gucci Not Guilty, you guys could run the ad right now. So, but they were really good about Gucci, and I'm sure they're very happy now because now they could go high up the Gucci Guilty ad.
Does this mean that he's dropping an album? The album I think is called "Don't Be Dumb." That's coming. Is that coming out?
Yeah, good album. I mean, I like all different genres of music, from classical to rock to grunge to hip hop and everything else, but